In this video, I'm going to give you a short and sweet 3-step blueprint on how you can successfully shred down for the summer. Now, a lot of people are trying to reinvent the wheel, but cutting is actually a fairly simple process, and I'll walk you through it in just 3 steps. I won't waste any of your time. Let's jump right into it. The first thing we are going to cover is calories. Now, this is honestly the single most important part of the cutting process, because if you can't get your calories under control, then you'll never lose weight and actually never successfully cut, and you're just gonna stay in the perma bulk. Now, a lot of people are reading the hieroglyphics and doing all this crazy shit to figure out how they can lose weight, but the reality is that it's actually relatively simple. To lose weight, the only thing you need to do is create a calorie deficit. Now, a calorie deficit isn't exactly that black and white, because you could either be in a massive calorie deficit or a relatively small calorie deficit. When you're cutting, I would strongly recommend aiming for a small calorie deficit, because the smaller the calorie deficit, the more likely you are to maintain your muscle mass, and the easier the diet will be to sustain in the long run. I would recommend aiming to lose about a pound a week. Now, 1 pound is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. So essentially, you are going to want to aim for a minus 500 calorie daily deficit, because there's 7 days in a week, and minus 500 times 7 will put you in a minus 3,500 weekly calorie deficit. To get into that minus 500 daily calorie deficit, honestly, I would put about 95% of your effort into just nailing your appropriate daily calorie intake. Now, there's a variety of ways to calculate how many calories you should be eating a day in order to do so, but to make it simple for you guys and save your time, I would recommend just taking your body weight in pounds and multiplying that number by 12. Whatever number you get, for like 95% of you, that is going to be a very safe estimate as to how many calories you should be consuming each day to get into that minus 500 calorie daily deficit. I would weigh yourself at the beginning of every single week, and then just take your new body weight times that number by 12 and repeat until you lose enough pounds to the point where you are satisfied with the amount of definition you have. I would also strongly encourage you to supplement that with 10,000 steps a day. Alright, next up is the protein intake. A lot of people, they're bulking, they're like, I'm eating X amount of protein, and then they're cutting and they're like, oh my god, I have to change my protein intake. Like, no, not really. You should be aiming to get about 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, whether you're bulking or cutting. Now, the only time I would slightly increase this during the cut is if you're already fairly lean, like say you're about 15% body fat and you plan on getting down to like 12 or 10% body fat. In that case, I would jack your protein intake up a little bit, and I would aim to get about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. The reason being is because the leaner you are, the more likely you are to lose muscle mass, so I would just play it safe and push it to that gram side. Furthermore, protein is by far the most satiating macro. So by eating a lot of protein, you'll be more likely to be full, which will make the calorie deficit that much easier. So essentially, you can kill 2 birds and 1 stone by jacking up your protein intake. As far as the carbs and fats go, honestly, I wouldn't bother tracking them. Just nail your appropriate calorie and protein intake, and the carbs and fats will cancel out. It really just doesn't matter that much. So that's essentially all it is to the diet. You basically need to just consistently nail down your protein intake and your calorie intake. Honestly, it's extremely simple on paper, but in real life, you might find that it's a bit trickier to do this. Well, lucky for you, a few spots on my one-on-one coaching programs actually opened up. So if you're interested, please do yourself a favor and click the link in the description or the pinned comment to apply for my coaching program. I 100% guarantee I can help you shred down effortlessly for the summer. Now let's dive into the training. Now, a lot of people actually completely f this part up. They have no clue how to train on a cut. They just completely shit the bed and have no idea what they should actually be doing when cutting. Most people, when they cut, they lower the weight and increase the reps and try and do this bullshit pump style of training, and they do these extremely high, almost circuit type workouts in order to tone up their body, and that is the stupidest thing you could possibly do. In actuality, when you are cutting, the single main goal is to maintain as much strength as possible on your key lifts. You need to fight for every last rep on the compound lifts to ensure that you're maintaining your strength, to ensure that you're maintaining your muscle mass. So say you're benching like 185 pounds for 5 reps on the bench press. Every single workout, you need to go in with 100% effort and energy and try and match that weight every single workout. The goal is to not lose a single rep on a cut while losing like 10 pounds. If you're able to do that, you are going to look extremely sharp for the summer, I am promising you. Now, whichever workout split you are currently doing, you can continue to rock with that if it's working for you, but honestly, when cutting, it would not be a bad idea to lower the frequency of your workouts in order to maximize your intensity. In general, the less you train, train, the harder you can go. So if you lower the amount of weekly workouts and you're only training like 3 or 4 days on a cut, that's fine, because that means every single workout you can go in 100% recharged and give 100% energy on every single workout to ensure that you are maintaining your strength on your lifts. So yeah, that's all I have for today. If you are able to follow those 3 steps to the pin, nail your calorie intake, nail your protein intake, and maintain your strength on your lifts throughout the cut, then the woman will be drooling over you this summer. I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, please consider subscribing. That would really help me out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.